There we go, unpause, and hello guys, welcome back to TaToH versus MbL. This is the Polaris Best of 9 series, and this is the 8th game, and well, I cast all the other games in the previous stream, but I didn't have time to do the last one, or the next one, but yeah, this is game number 8, the score is currently 4-3, I don't even know. I can't even see it on my screen at the moment, so I have no idea. But yeah, this map is going to be Baltic. And over to the west of the map in the purple, we've got VN Robber Stinson, aka TaToH. He's playing in the purple as the Vikings, no surprises there. And across the pond, quite literally, on the other side of the map, at the southeast, in the teal, we've got RFRBT, aka MbL. And he's playing as the Vikings as well in the teal there. Really no surprise that they both chose Vikings here. Obviously, it's hidden civs, and we saw them both choose Vikings for migration also. And in fact, that was an interesting migration game. If you guys remember, I don't know, people watching the stream might not have seen the games yet. I don't know, but either way, TaToH on that migration game tried to mix things up a bit, tried to break the meta, and he tried to do a galley rush in the feudal age, and it didn't work because, well, MbL decided to do the fish boom in the Dark Age, and by the time TaToH managed to get to his island, his little island, starting island, MbL was already up to the Castle Age, and TaToH was just outgrushed, and MbL managed to keep the lead for the entirety of that game, simply because he fish boomed up at the start, and TaToH took the risk, and it didn't pay off. It's a really risky thing to do. TaToH, though, still in the lead with a 4-3, 4-3 score at the moment. Of course, this one is game 8, so if MbL wins this one, then it will be 4-4. And if TaToH wins it, then it will be 5-3, and that will be the end of the series, as this is a best of 9. It's the first to 5 wins. Now, Baltic's pretty standard, let's be honest. I mean, this is going to be a very standard Grush build here, and I would not be surprised if it really just is very even neck and neck throughout, until one of them gets an advantage on the water, and then that's going to be pretty much it. Like, I don't often see Baltic games having much variance in them, other than the very standard galley rush. So the real main difference so far in kind of build orders at the moment is that TaToH is pushing a couple of deer, or he's continuing to, yeah. So he's still pushing deer in towards his TC, and as a result, he's a little slower bringing in his boar here. You'll see he's only just bringing that in now. I mean, that's absolutely fine, but if you consider MbL at the moment, he's taken his first ball already, and that's nearly completely eaten up, so he's going to have a potentially slightly faster start here. He's also pushing deer in towards his TC, and that's always so valuable to do that. Obviously, your villagers will gather that deer a little bit faster, and that's some fantastic luring from MbL as well. Just hopping those villagers into the TC, popping them out, and dropping that deer right underneath, which is awesome, and very, very well done. And MbL's start here looks fantastic, to be honest with you. He's coming in to bring that second boar in now, and yeah, he could use his scout cavalry to lure that boar in, but he's going to use that to keep pushing those deer in. Now, both of them getting their docks up at pretty much identical times, and we're going to start seeing those fishing ships coming out. 5 villagers on the wood for TaToH, 5 for MbL. The build orders are so similar. And MbL here just bringing in that second boar right underneath the TC. Really, really well done. TaToH's second boar is a little bit outside of the TC. He's still got his first board there. So I'd say at this point in time, MbL is quite far ahead. And if we even have a look at the Fog of War, MbL has done more scouting as well. He's sending his scout around on the right side now to pick up some extra sheep and such. So MbL not pushing any more deer in towards his TC, whereas TaToH's pushed at least 2 in. I think if we have a quick look, yeah, he's pushed 2. He's got a third out here on the left side. MbL's only pushed the 1, but I do think that MbL will be the faster up to the feudal age here. I mean, look at that. He's 22 population already, and TaToH's just 21, 22 now, but he is a few seconds behind, and those few seconds are very, very vital. They add up in the long run. So MbL starting to scout around on the edge of the map, and if this map is so easy to wall on the sides that players don't even bother walling most of the time. They just like, they know that they have to full grush. If they don't full grush, then they're in trouble, basically. Sagire11 just became Wallow Warlord. Awesome. Thank you very much, man. You are officially the best new subscriber right there. And that makes you a very, very awesome person. So thank you very much. So at the moment then, wow, I'm surprised. Robert Stinson up to Feudal first, and by quite a way. That was pretty well done. And obviously pushing in that extra deer a little bit sooner was the make or break in that situation. He's going up on 24 population, and MbL going up on 25. MbL clearly adding in an extra villager here then, as he is only just adding in his 4th fishing ship. And you know, I think he's messed that up a little bit, to be honest with you. He should have gone up with 1 less villager. He would have been much closer in the feudal time if he had done that. But at the same time, that 1 extra villager is certainly going to give him a little bit of an eco boost as he upgrades to the feudal age. But it's really all about the speed in this situation and making sure that you can get your docks up, making sure that you can get those galleys out as fast as possible. So MbL just adding in his 2nd dock now, and that 2nd dock for TaToH's already up. So that's going to be, well, basically setting him up very well for when he gets up to the feudal age here. And, well, oh dear, oh dear. I was going to say, what's going on there? He was palisading his villager in, but he's going to chase that scout away anyway. Obviously, in this situation, the villager versus scout, you don't want to be fighting that one-on-one, but he's going to be able to bring his own scout in now, and obviously his scout has the advantage, as it has got more health than MbL's scout. So the 3rd dock just coming up, MbL seeing full well what is going on, and double bit axe for both players immediately. But obviously, Robert Stinson, TaToH already has double bit axe done, and MbL just researching it now. A little bit slower, but that was because he was into the feudal age a little slower. Question is, will they both be able to pretty much play it even on the rush? Well, obviously TaToH first to get the galleys out here, that's expected, and both of them microing their scouts now as well to try and get the advantage there. Looks like TaToH will win that fight, there's no question about that. He'll get a couple of pot shots off and he'll kill that scout easily. MbL now going to have to protect his fishing ships, going to have to play very defensively at this dock, as these 3 fishing ships, note that he's only got 3, whereas TaToH has 4, are forced to take these shorefish. They were taking the shorefish just there. So one of them already taking a little shot already, and MbL forced into a pretty defensive position at the moment, as TaToH gets the population, well, military population advantage. 6 galleys out for TaToH, just the 4 for MbL at the moment. And 1 more shot, and I think that scout cavalry might just be dead as well. So not so good for MbL, but he might just get it back to his TC in time. I guess we'll find out. The chaser, by the way, always catches up in the end. So this scout will eventually catch this scout if they run for long enough. It's always the case. But anyway, TaToH going to let the scout live this time. It's not the end of the world if you lose your scout, really, because the focus is solely on the middle, and that's, well, understandable. So MbL getting a little bit housed right here, but he's fine. He's sticking up some houses pretty quickly, and a blacksmith as well, and that's quite slow compared to TaToH here. TaToH's already got fletching on the way, and he's not had to sacrifice any villager production for it, though he is getting housed once again, quickly throwing up a house there. So fletching going to be done for TaToH pretty quickly here, and MbL not even got his blacksmith up there. He has got his blacksmith up, just doing fletching now, so there's a whole heap of time difference there. And MbL just sneaking ahead in the galley count, but obviously with fletching done, TaToH can engage now and have an advantage in this little fight as well. Obviously, MbL has got the defender's advantage if TaToH fights here, which means he will reinforce a little bit faster. But fletching's done for TaToH now. He might get a couple of pot shots off, but MbL here, not long with fletching as well. And with those couple of extra galleys popping out, things are going to be evened up. Fletching's just done for him now as well, so it did not take too long. My little statistics overlay freezing at about 12 minutes there, so it'll update in a minute. I know it says they're still researching Fletching, but they're not. They've done it. So Scout for MbL dying on the left side to a villager, and TaToH's actually walling this up, which is quite unusual. You don't see players typically walling it up, because they just assume that they won't need to. MbL losing out on the water here slightly as well. TaToH getting the advantage in that little fight. Good micro from him, and he's going to pursue that advantage, keep pushing forwards as both of them try to micro out of one another's way and avoid as many volleys of arrow fire as possible. But 14 galleys for TaToH, 11 for MbL. Obviously, they both got more out on the way. And MbL will quickly close that gap once his next round of galleys come out. But pretty good micro by both of them at the moment. TaToH has managed to avoid quite a lot of these shots. And, well, he's got the advantage once again. He's going to keep pushing it, or keep trying to push it at the very least. Splitting away and retreating as soon as he gets a couple of kills to make sure he retains that advantage. But yeah, I mean, he's walled up with stone on both flanks, which, like I said, is fairly uncommon, to be honest with you. A lot of the time, players will not bother to wall because they know that as soon as a landing attempt or a sneak villager attempt is tried, they will spot it because the other person will be very low on galleys, and they'll start losing galley production as they try and do a barracks and an archery range or whatever on the flank. So in most situations, it's pretty easy to tell when you're being landed or when something is going to be snuck through your flank. So both of them at the moment on the 4 docks. TaToH's still with the population lead. And if we have a look at the military, 6 kills and 3 losses. Make that 6 and 4, and it's going to be pretty close. I mean, at this point in time, it's just a real numbers game. Getting every tiny advantage that you can, but it's always going to remain fairly close. 7-5 at the moment, and most of the action going on in the center of the map, as expected, really. Obviously, the big thing here is getting up to the castle age, because that's where the game can really start to pull into one player's favor. In this situation, TaToH is 500 food and 300 gold. MbL is at 550 food and 200 gold, so it's pretty close. TaToH perhaps a little bit too much gold income at the moment, with 6-7 villagers on the gold there, which is quite a few. If you look at MbL, he's just got the 6. TaToH sending another over. MbL's also taking the deer here, and he's going to try and get the boost of food that he needs to go up to the castle age. It's going to be close either way. Both of them at 675 food, almost exactly there. But TaToH does seem to be pulling ahead in the galley counts. 21 galleys out compared to the 18 of MbL now, and that advantage seems to be going more and more in TaToH's favor. Now, usually the galley war will remain very neck and neck, right up until the point where they just go for it. They're like, right, that's enough. I've done with microing now. We're just going to fight, and then one person will win. Usually the person with the most galleys. Or they will alternatively kind of get caught out, and they'll do, war galley. They'll have their opponent almost cornered, and they'll take the advantage from that. But either way, both of them are up to the castle age now. TaToH is at 37% and MbL's at 20%. So TaToH pretty significantly faster here. Obviously, these farms, his fishing ships as well, the 4 versus the 3 from MbL. So TaToH did have a little bit more food income, and as a result, he's managed to be able to get up to the castle age pretty quickly. But I just want to have a quick check at my stats here. TaToH actually bought 100 food, and we wouldn't have noticed that if I didn't have my little statistics thing going on. But yeah, TaToH actually just bought 100 food so that he could reach the castle age a little faster. And that would explain why he had a little bit of extra gold income there. You noticed he sent that 7th villager over to the gold. Well, he actually bought 100 food rather than gathering it. And MbL, just the 6 villagers on gold. So that's obviously allowed TaToH to be able to do that. MbL also taking deer at the back. He's pretty lucky. He's got 2 deer patches. But I don't think the castle age time is going to be that different or that big of a margin that it will make a huge difference here. Obviously, TaToH is going to be up slightly faster. But by the time he's got War Galley, MbL will be able to get out of the way, and he's going to be able to get War Galley himself. So it's not going to be, you know, the end game here for MbL just because TaToH's up. But TaToH's added in that 4th dock. He's doing a university, and I mean, that's pretty standard Grush build still. I mean, all the way up through to the Imperial age, it's going to be the same for every player playing on water. It's just that's just the way it is. MbL then sitting duck at the moment. War Galley coming in, and he's doing padded archer armor. I don't know if that was a mistake. Oh, he's doing bodkin arrow as well. Are you kidding me? Wait, that can't be right. Okay, something's bugged out here. How is it? It says he's doing padded archer armor. He's obviously not. He's doing bodkin arrow. I don't know why it says he's doing padded archer armor. It's clearly bugged. Maybe he clicked it and then cancelled it. But either way, MbL here at the corner of the map, trying to avoid TaToH for a while until he can get bodkin arrow and War Galley, which of course he's just done, and now they can engage. But still, there's only 3 galleys in it. There's literally nothing in it at all in this situation. It's surprisingly close, but TaToH now going for ballistics, and well, there's no university up for MbL at the moment, so this could be giving TaToH a small advantage. MbL just getting up his university now as TaToH decides he's going to try and take one of these docks down, perhaps maybe even force a conflict on this left flank. But once that ballistic's done, TaToH is probably going to turn right around and attack head-on, because he knows he's going to get the advantage if he does that. Ballistic's going to give him a little bit more firepower, as he will hit more of those what are they called? Projectiles, bullets, arrows, ballista heads, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, also notice now, MbL's only just doing bowsaw, whereas TaToH did that a long while ago. However, MbL is sticking up his 2nd TC now, and he has done that much sooner than TaToH. TaToH now adding in an extra dock once again, and ballistics just completing for TaToH. He's going to fight, and as MbL runs away, he's going to take a lot of extra damage that he wouldn't normally take if that ballistics upgrade hadn't been done. It's still very close. There's still only 3 galleys advantage for TaToH here. But the fact that TaToH's added an extra dock rather than an extra TC, that kind of says to me that TaToH wants to get mega aggressive on the water here. He's going to bring down this dock on the left side from MbL, and MbL just doesn't want to fight. So that's going to give TaToH a huge water advantage. And, you know, as we know, this map is all about winning the water. And that right there is pretty much a winning move from TaToH. He is forcing the conflict on the left side, and TaToH has the most units. It's as simple as that. In fact, you know, he can just turn around and fight again, and it will be absolutely fine because he's got 10 more galleys on the water. That extra dock contributing to military production. MbL here having to rebuild, and that's costing him a lot of wood, and it's also costing him production time. So TaToH here coming in to engage now, losing quite a few galleys initially as he's slow to bring all of his units in, but he will win this fight. MbL continuing to fight it, but I mean, he's gonna lose it. There's no question about that. The galleys are really stacked in TaToH's favor, and MbL here didn't really have much choice. If he didn't fight, then TaToH would have destroyed his dock and he would have had to rebuild it. It's an uphill battle that once you start falling behind it, that's game over. So 36 galleys to 19. MbL going to bring every new galley he's got into the fight, and obviously it's so difficult to see what's going on, how many galleys are here, because they're also stacked up on top of one another. But we can tell you for sure that it's 31 to 13 now, as TaToH gets a bigger and bigger advantage as this fight goes on. MbL losing everything he's got on the water, and he needs a plan B now. All of a sudden, he doesn't have a plan B. Now, careening has been done as well for TaToH here, giving him +1 ship armor. And that's it. There's just five galleys left for MbL. And MbL now gathering his galleys inside of his docks, but that's not too good. The left dock is going to go down if he doesn't fight. He's going to lose his fishing ships, and even though TaToH here was slower, he hasn't even put up a second TC. Oh, sorry, he was slower to put up a second TC, that's for sure. He's actually ahead in villager count as well, as these two ships go down on the right side. So MbL losing water. With that, probably the game. I don't want to sound like a doomsayer or anything like that, but I mean, it's undeniable that once you lose the water, that's it's tough. You're going to struggle to get it back. Obviously on Baltic as well, with these side areas, these flanks being so close to the edge of the map, the water being so close to the edge, galleys along here would prevent any units from coming across. So the only way to win is to really, well, not the only way, but most of the time the only way to win is by winning the water. And of course TaToH is not going to let MbL back onto the water now. He's had his chance and that's it. He's done for. So obviously that ship armor giving TaToH another quite big advantage here, and TaToH is just going to be able to surround the water. He's going to be able to come in here, maybe hit some villagers. Fortunately for MbL, most of his resources are quite far from the shore, but MbL 12 galleys to 44. It's just, he can't do it off of 4 docks. He's going to have a lot more docks. He's going to have to have a lot more economy. Where that came from. TaToH, meanwhile, sitting on 800 wood and 560 gold. What he should probably do at this point is add another TC and add a lot of villagers. Maybe not even another TC. Maybe just add more farms. And that way, he can very easily just get a lot more food income and go up to the Imperial Age. He's got the gold for it. He's already got water control, and he doesn't need to really have a really strong eco. When he reaches the Imperial Age, he just needs to have the time or the Imperial Age advantage so that he can get galleon and that he can start doing cannon galleons or something like that and start winning from the water. That's all you really need. So on the left side, he's adding a lot more farms. He's adding some farms around his TC. Obviously, he's got wood to absolutely burn through here, and moving villagers away from wood now and putting them onto farms all over the place, doing heavy plow. Oh, no, that's not TaToH, that's MbL doing heavy plow. MbL now trying to reach the Imperial Age as well, making his farms more efficient with that upgrade, but it's coming in a little bit late. But either way, seeding a lot of farms, looking for a lot more food income so that he can keep villagers coming out and try and get up to the Imperial Age in a good time. He's got a lot of farmland over here, but then again, so is TaToH, and TaToH also has some fish, which is certainly going to supplement his economy. TC on the right side coming up, trying to burn through that wood, like I said. Obviously, when you're doing a grush build, you typically make a lot of, well, you send a lot of villagers to gold, a lot of villagers to wood, mostly wood, rather, and as a result, once you start slowing down on galley production, your wood starts to shoot up. But you'll see TaToH here adding in fish as well, fishing ships. He's going to get a big fish boom advantage, and all that extra food will allow him to, in theory, go up to the Imperial Age faster. But MbL might just do it. He's still hanging on in there, as TaToH decides that he's going to start splitting up all of his galleys here. And he's going to kill the wolves as well with his boats. Now, MbL might notice that. If we look at the fog of war, MbL will see that dead wolf if he looks over there. If he doesn't look over there, then this sneak is going to be successful. On the left side, a monk coming in, going to get a conversion as MbL tries to build a monastery. This monk, though, going to grab the relic and run. Will the villagers kill the monk? Well, no. The monk will go to the shore. The galleys at the shoreline will kill the villagers. And, wow, TaToH stealing a relic from right in front of MbL's eyes. You don't see that every day. MbL going up to 4 TCs as well now, which is quite a lot, and that's going to slow his Imperial time down potentially, but hey, he could click up right now. He's got himself a university, he's got himself a monastery, he's up, but of course, TaToH was a lot faster because he didn't add so many TCs, so many villagers so quickly. He had the fish on the water, and he added a lot of farms very, very quickly once he realized, yep, going Imperial is what I need to do. So TaToH here, huge advantage, building a gate on this right side as well, and not only has he now sniped that, or stolen that relic from under MbL's nose. That's the second relic he's bringing back, but he's going to go and collect the one on the right side as well. A couple more monks coming out. He's going to collect this one, he's going to collect that one, and before long he's going to have all 5 relics, as well as a ton of map control. He's walling MbL in on both flanks. He's got water control. I don't know what MbL's plan is here, but I think he may GG it once he sees that TaToH's reached the Imperial Age. And that's not good, is it? So there you go. Imperial Age for TaToH here. Is MbL going to fight on? That's the question. Well, TaToH at the moment doing a bunch of researches. He's doing Bracer, Galleon, of course, and that will give him range from the water to start harassing MbL's economy. He's doing Crossbow, which is to attack on the land, and he's doing Chemistry as well for extra attack damage, and obviously Chemistry for potentially cannon galleons, which would be awesome. So Imperial Age is on the way for MbL as well, but he's a lot slower here, and by quite some amount as well. On the right side, archery range is coming up, and MbL didn't bother to wall up the flanks. He just assumed that it would be fine, and well, it's not fine. There's a few archery ranges coming up, and TaToH is doing the Arbalest research right now, as well as capped ram, so that he can start coming in here with siege and doing a lot of damage, sweeping through MbL's base. MbL really not prepared for this at all, and I just don't see how he could possibly bring this game back. We're going to see a castle from TaToH very soon as well. He's sticking up some outposts to get some vision. And the Imperial Age upgrade is still not done. There we go. Imperial now just for MbL. Quite a ways later. And at this point, well, Arbalest's already done. And TaToH already has those research upgrades. And MbL here going to lose a lot of villagers on this right side as they'll try and run back towards the TC to realize that they're quite far away. So TaToH is really just all over this at the moment. MbL putting up a siege workshop on the left side. Perhaps going to try and bring these galleons down. Just doing Chemistry as well, and Bracer, but he doesn't actually have, I don't think, any ranges here. He's not got a single archery range, and those Arbalest in his eco are basically going to be the game ender here. Siege workshops coming up on the right side for TaToH. He can afford a castle now as well, but those Arbalests are going to massacre his villagers. And MbL's economy here is, well, it's okay. He's got a lot of food and a lot of gold, but he's made so many farms here to try and reach the Imperial Age quickly that he's not got enough wood. And without wood, you're really stuffed. You can't build your military production buildings. You really can't do a lot at all. MbL's response rather to these Arbalest is to add towers everywhere. Maybe he'll do the guard tower upgrade. He's doing the guard tower upgrade. It's happening. Ring archer armor now for TaToH. TaToH not messing around here, getting these guys fully upgraded. And for MbL's doing onager and guard tower. Guard tower. This is like watching the Fiege game all over again. TaToH coming in with a siege ram, and of course this is the perfect counter to any guard towers that might be out there. The ram gonna just come through and, well, first of all, attack the farm. It's got plenty of time. This tower is just gonna do nothing to the ram here. The ram's gonna bring down the towers very, very quickly. And, well, scale barding armor coming in, I think, for MbL now, unless my things are wrong. Scale mail armor. The overlay thing doesn't seem to know what techs are what. I don't know what's that is about. But yeah, doing infantry defense upgrades, not wise, considering there are so many Arbalest here. I don't know if he's planning to do any infantry at all, but there's a castle drop on the top from TaToH here as well. And onagers coming in from MbL. What's MbL going to do in this situation? Well, he's going to try and buy himself some time with onagers as he starts making man-at-arms. Going to be upgrading into champions, but mass champions do not do well, do not fare well against Arbalest. I mean, they will get cut down before the Arbalest even, well, before they even make it to the Arbalest. So, bad news, very bad news for MbL at the moment. Though, saying that, he will take down these rams pretty quickly. The man-at-arms research there nearly getting cancelled, in fact. But TaToH, with a castle in his base, with more siege workshops, more production coming up, he's not really going to have too many troubles. Elite Berserk being done right now as well. And TaToH here, oh, I like that a lot. Elite Berserk, we're going to see some Berserkers coming out. He's got a lot of food, a lot of gold as well, which is expected considering he made so many farms to go up to the Imperial Age, and he has all these fish as well. So Berserker's going to make their way out very soon as he's doing the defense upgrades, or he was doing the defense upgrades at the archery range. Thumb ring coming in to make these archers fire faster. More siege rams, conscription, and I mean TaToH's just thinking, end this already, MbL, end it, because it's you're done, you're done. So yeah, obviously conscription coming out, then we're going to see the berserkers. There's a castle going up here though for MbL, and obviously MbL really doesn't want to let this go, because I mean, well, can you blame him? If he loses this game, that's the series over. But so many upgrades coming in here, and surely now TaToH will spot this castle on the left side. He's got his villagers there. He's going to see that, and he can, well, attempt to either ram it down or stick out a trebuchet once conscription's done here. He's also got enough for another castle, and there it is, coming up on the right side here. Elite berserkers coming out, gotta love it, and of course they will close the gap to these onagers, and if those onagers go down, then these arbalest are going to have free reign over MbL's economy, and he's going to have a very hard time stopping these rams as well. So the arbalest coming in, and I mean they're going to be either getting caught out by the onagers here, or they're just going to be running away to avoid them, waiting for the berserkers to do their jobs. There's a treb out though for MbL here, and of course TaToH going to go and try and close the gap here with his siege ram, and if he can get his ram to the treb's going to go down pretty damn quickly. Of course MbL going to try and focus down the siege ram here before the treb goes down, but the treb going down anyway, and the two-handed swordsmen here are going to be so ineffective. It's not even funny. They're going to die by the time they even reach the arbalest at this rate, which is just horrible. Second castle coming up for TaToH now. More berserkers in that castle, plenty where they came from. And even though these arbalest have been kind of sitting inside of this castle range, sorry, they are still just surviving it, since the castle is now attacking the siege rams. So rams coming in from MbL, but the elite berserks here are going to be swiftly destroying them, and then they'll turn their attention to the onagers here. And the onagers getting flattened very quickly by the arrow fire from this castle. Another castle coming up from TaToH, and MbL, it is over. MbL still has quite a bit of resources left. In fact, he actually has a pretty good population considering the situation, but honestly it's very much over for him now. Berserkers here are going to be countering, well, not necessarily countering, but they're going to be doing a pretty good job against the champions. Champion is on the way for MbL, but it's taking quite some time. Forging just coming in for these berserks here. I mean, the berserks are fantastic. You just don't see them very often, though. I mean, they are very situational, and there's not that many situations where berserks are used, I guess. But yes, this castle's going to fall by the looks of things. Champions surrounding these rams, but there's plenty of arbalest here to keep them safe. And once the castle goes down, the rest of these champions are going to get taken out with it, as this new castle comes up and it takes out even more of MbL's eco. These villagers are going to get cut down very quickly, and MbL needs to realize that it is over at this point in time. It is very much over. The score: 13,250 for TaToH, 9,400 for MbL. And MbL just holding on. The castle here, laying into these champions, the arbalest as well, laying into them. And, well, elite berserks, gonna be pretty damn good, let's be honest, in this situation here. Really good melee armor. And, of course, plenty of health, plenty of attack damage, making mincemeat of those champions. And, well, MbL redeploying that trebuchet now, looking to bring down the castle, but there's more castles coming up from TaToH where that came from, and MbL's just being squashed back into the corner of the map. He can't go out towards the shore because there's boats there, and that's GG. MbL gonna call it. TaToH going to win the series with a 5-3 victory. Very well played by him. He was in control of that game. There was no question about that. Once he won the water, it's pretty much over, but he very, very well executed that Imperial Age push. It was nice to see the berserks coming into play. You don't see them too often. And, well, I mean, let's be honest. He did the right thing. He didn't boom up too heavily. He just sank as many resources as he could into fishing ships and farms, reached the Imperial Age much sooner, pushed along those flanks, which MbL naively did not wall up, and made very short work of MbL's economy. MbL very, very hard pressed to defend. He had the right idea, of course, with the onagers. The champions, though, I don't think were such a great choice at all, but it would have been difficult either way. If he'd have gone for Arbalest, the Rams here would have been able to counter them quite easily, and with all the castles that TaToH was dropping down, making it even harder to regain ground, as MbL could not make any more siege, and he just got squashed into the corner of the map. Pretty horrible end for him, but there you go. GG, and TaToH going to take the series. Well played and well deserved. 5-3 victory for him in this Polaris best of 9. So that's the last one then. I just wanted to get this done.